All right, y'all, in this video, I'm going to talk about how fast can the bank actually take your home and how does the foreclosure process work. I'm also going to tell you how Mrs. Wong and her husband took 6 months to close on their property because they had a tenant slash squatter who knew how to manipulate the law and stretched it out as much as possible. All right, y'all, if you just inherited a home, if you have a fixer-upper, if you have a house you don't know what to do with, send it our way. We would love to give you a cash offer. All right, y'all, so here's how fast the bank can take your home. Okay, I'm going to go through the foreclosure process, but to answer your question up front and generally speaking, it's going to take at least 4 to 6 months to a year for the bank to actually take your home, and here's why. Okay, there's a foreclosure process. I'm going to tell you about the foreclosure process, and the bank is generally going to have options for you. Okay, so if you miss a payment, they're going to have a few days, like 10 to 15 days for you to catch up on your payments. If you get to the point where you're 6 months behind, 4 months behind, you can call the bank, and sometimes they're going to have options for you, like they will lower your payments for 6 months. That's an option for you. Or they'll have no payments for 6 months. They'll push it to the back of the loan. Okay. The bank doesn't want a foreclosure on their books just as much as you don't want to be foreclosed on. Okay. Because it looks bad on their books when they're lending money to people and they're getting a bunch of foreclosures, just like it looks bad on you if your property gets foreclosed on. I've even seen cases, if you watch another video, this lady was foreclosed on and it took 15 years for the bank to catch it. Okay, so I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but it is a process. Okay, it's not, you're not just going to get a foreclosure notice and then the next day your house is gone. So the first phase of the foreclosure process that nobody talks about is actually purchasing the home. Okay, when you purchase a home, you should be able to comfortably purchase the home, and you should also be able to comfortably afford your monthly payments. Make sure you can comfortably afford that home because you don't want to be struggling to make that payment every month. And if every month when your mortgage comes, let's say it's $2,500, it's like, man, my mortgage is due. Okay, it's a painful thing to pay your payment every month. Okay, so that is the first step. Spending more than what you can afford to buy your property. Okay, I know it feels good to own a homeowner pride, but make sure you can actually truly afford it. When you miss a payment, phase one, your bank is usually going to have 10 to 15 days of grace before they put a late payment on you. Okay, so that's the first phase. The second phase is if you're behind 30 to 60 days, they're going to start reporting to the credit bureaus. You have a 30 and 60 day late payment on your credit report. Okay, that's very, very serious. If you cannot make a payment for 60 days, you are in a tough situation. So the next phase after this, say you haven't paid your mortgage in over 90 to 100 days, this is what, in my opinion, is considered pre-foreclosure. And your lender and your bank is going to put you in notice of default. Okay, your notice of default, and they might even have a day when the foreclosure is happening. Okay, usually it's the first Tuesday of the month. Okay, your notice of default, it's public now, and your phone is going to start buzzing with investors that want to purchase your property. This is going to be the toughest time. It's super embarrassing. You're getting calls all day from your lender. You're getting calls all day from investors. You don't know what to do. You probably don't have income because you lost your job, or maybe your income has drastically decreased. Let's say your wife lost her job, or you lost your job, and you just don't have the money to cover it. Now we're 6 months in. The next phase after notice of default, a date has been set for the foreclosure. On that foreclosure date, your property is auctioned off at the county. Okay. If nobody makes an offer on that property, the next step for the bank is they're going to try to sell it on the open market. Okay. Now, to get you physically out of the house, they have to file an eviction notice with the judge. Okay. If the county is streamlined, they can get your file in and out. But if that's not the case, they have to wait for a judge to give you a court order so they can come and actually physically remove you from the property. And they're actually going to have a date so you'll know when they're coming. After you're evicted out of your house, there is what's called a right of redemption. Okay, so after your house is foreclosed on, you're evicted from your house, you can still get your house back. It depends what state you're in, but up to a year, you can actually pay back. You can actually reinstate the loan, pay back what you owe, and get your house back. Okay, this is very, very unlikely because it's been 6 months to a year that you've been behind on your payments. You probably lost your job and you just simply can't afford the house anymore. Okay, but you have rights, you do have options. Okay, I hope that information helped you. So the story of Mrs. Wong. Okay, it took us 6 months to close on their property with our investor because the tenant knew the law. Okay, and she was playing Miss Wong and her kindness. Okay, because when the rent was due, she's like, "Hey, Miss Wong, give me more time, give me more time." And Miss Wong kept on helping her, kept on helping her, kept on helping her until it became too much. So Miss Wong filed an eviction notice and went to court. And miraculously, the tenant came up with the money that the judge asked. So the judge was able to give them an extension to stay in the house and a payment plan that they had to keep. So they kept keeping the payment plan for about 3 months. Then they defaulted again. And that's when Miss Wong was able to evict them. In order for Miss Wong to evict them, she also had to get another court order and another judge appointment. But it finally got done. If you guys have a bad tenant and you need help with evictions, we know some people. And if you want a cash offer on their property, we can definitely help you.